Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akul Mac Technologies. Welcome to Top Rise. And let me welcome my friend, my mentor, my colleague, Mr. Naval Gant from UK. Good
Good
morning.
morning, CK. How are you?
I'm good, Naval. In fact, I just want to tell you that I started reading your book and I'm compelled to inform the viewers about this work that you have done. And it's in my hand right now, this book of yours. And it has such an interesting title. The title of the book is Can You Handle the Truth? And it's written by Naval Gant, who's my colleague, and also a very fine gentleman called John Germini. So this is a fantastic work, and I'm reading Naval. I just want to tell you, and I've gone through the acknowledgement and the first few pages of chapter one, and I have a few questions which I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, with your permission.
Yeah, no, far away. We wrote it so that it might stimulate a little thought. So, yeah, please do, CK. Fire away. Any question you like.
So, in your book, you have mentioned that some of the facts and features which are written down by yourself and John, it might even shock the accomplished consultant leaders, consulting companies. What do you feel that, and could you elaborate what is the thought behind writing this book?
Well, great question. And actually, it's the core reason we wrote the book because the majority of people just get on with their day's work. But there are phrases that we use on a regular basis, the truth hurts. Bring me solutions, don't bring me problems. Why do we say those sort of things? And they hit us hard. The truth hurts. Well, yes, it does because you weren't thinking of it. And as a leader, we both classify ourselves as leaders, as managers, mentors, coaches, helpers, etc., etc. Parents, grandparents, maybe in the future. You never know. When we make decisions, when you make a decision, do you make it on the best available knowledge that's out there, even though it may not be what you want to hear? Or do you fill the gaps in around your current belief and then make a decision? What do you do?
Um, it's a quite tough question. I can't give you a right or wrong answer, but I can give you some answer. I think I will go with my instinct.
Yeah, and your instinct is based upon your experiences, more importantly, on your beliefs. Now, what if I were to say to you something that shattered one of your beliefs? It was a truth, but you didn't believe it. It was reality, but you didn't believe it. But it would change the way you were going to do things in the future. How would you feel about that? Would you trust me?
Well, so this is subject to only me as a person. So let me handle this question that you are putting in front of me. See, it's like this. In my mind, you are a person who gives me advice, right? You are an advisor to me. And then based on your advice, I will take some action which is related to me. But whatever action I take is not related to you. So whatever happens will affect me. It will not affect you,
Yep.
right? So does that
Yep.
mean I will stop taking advice from you? No, because whatever whatever decision I've taken is mine, based on your advice, maybe somebody else's. These are my decisions, and I have to implement those decisions in a way that if it succeeds, it's good. I will value. I got advice from leaders, but if it doesn't work, I will probably go back to you saying that hey, it didn't work. So I'll probably confront myself and probably tell you that your advice didn't work. But it doesn't mean that I will stop taking advice from you. So I think my learning is If you don't take action, whether it is self-driven, self-motivated, or even externally motivated, like from a leader like you, I will still have to continue taking those in future and seeing whether it works or not.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't stop you from doing any of those because that's the right thing to do. You won't progress, you won't move forward unless you do something. So leadership is about doing. It's a sport, it's an activity. However, let's go back to the question, okay? I'm going to give you a fact that shatters your belief and fundamentally changes what you've done in the past. In fact, it's so shattering that you look at it and think, everything I've done up until now was wrong. I need to do something differently. That's the truth. So the point is, how resilient are you to handling the truth? Do you believe what you're now seeing is the reality, or what you saw before was reality? And that's the big question for you. So the reason we put the name, the title of the book is, Can You Handle the Truth? Because it's a very big question. Once you can handle the truth, you take away some of the blocks that you've had in the past. You start to not think about your comfort zone or thinking outside of the box. You start to say, what box? Whose comfort zone? But then you got to remember, you may be able to handle the truth, but now how do you help others handle the truth? So within a big organization, if you're plowing down this route down here and you're making minor adjustments, people can do that. And you carry everyone with you. But if you're plowing down this route and someone says, hang on a minute, you're wrong. In 2008, the biggest financial crisis in the world, there was a whistleblower. How was that whistleblower handled? We all know how that whistleblower was handled.
Yeah,
they were ignored. They were undermined.
Right.
You know, we've seen even worse situations where people commit suicide on the back end of no weapons of mass destruction, and nobody listened to the scientists that said people are manipulating the words to formulate their own truth. So this is a huge subject arena, and why John and I thought it's a good title for the book. So can you handle the truth? Can you handle the truth? Don't answer that.
Yes, it is a very interesting title, and I think as I'm reading the book, I think there will be more questions. I will keep asking.
I'm sure there will.
I'm reading, ladies and gentlemen, I'm reading the soft copy, and at the end of this discussion, I will leave my email. If anybody wants to get access to this book, great work by John and Neville, please reach out to me, and I will be more than happy to share with you. Moving on, Neville, I think I have not gone through the entire book. Maybe the answer to the following question may be there in your book, but let me nevertheless ask you. You mentioned about a new model related to consulting services, and why you feel that there are so many big consulting companies. I don't want to take the name of them, but we all know Big Four, Big Seven. But yet, you and your co-author John feels that there is a need for a new consultancy model. Why you feel so?
Well, I think this goes back into history and back into where John's a few years older than me, but we've come through very similar backgrounds. Worked on the world stage, worked internationally with governments, with large organisations, small organisations, with the supply chain, improving the supply chain to make things more efficient and effective. So we've both been focused on being more productive. And the reason for that is we want people to enjoy themselves. So a byproduct of being really engaged and being really productive, because the two are very, very closely linked, as all the research has said, and the practice has said, because the research is catching up with the practice. Being happy is really what we all want to be. I want to turn around and say, I love my job. I love what I do. Now, you're not going to love everything. There's going to be parts of your job that you think is a complete bore, but you have to get through it. But the thing is, if you're really engaged in what you do, you can get through the boring stuff really quickly because you're very, very focused, and then be far more productive and innovative on the rest of what you're doing. So we know this in an organization. And I think the consultancy model, and I'm not just talking about for large organizations, I'm actually talking about for SMEs now. So for an SME that brings a coach or a mentor in, it's the same discussion, it's the same consultation. For us, it was and always will be a partnership. A win-win, that overused phrase that we all use, but few people understand. So the consultancy model means I need to bring in people that perhaps have a lot more experience elsewhere, that they can help me do what I do better. Now, that could be a complete business process review, a BPR, a re-engineering. You know, it could be huge. Or alternatively, it could be just come and listen to how we're doing it and help me understand if I'm missing something. You know, help me fill in the gaps. Now, my belief, his belief, and reality would suggest is the C-suite typically outsources it. And the larger the organization, they outsource it to the very large organizations. And that outsourcing, unfortunately, is no longer a partnership. It's no longer a service level agreement, as the phrase was actually sort of came around in the sort of late 70s, 80s and early 90s. A service level agreement. Now imagine what that really means in reality. So if you and I were working together, I mean, you introduced me as your mentor, you do something, I do something, you do something, I do something, and we bounce off each other. Sometimes we go off on a tangent somewhere because we enjoy each other's company. Sometimes you get very hard on me or I get very hard on you because we handle the difficult questions. Why? Because we want to be better. Now, in a consultancy model, that's really where we should be. But I think the majority of cases that we've seen out there is that the consultancy model has been twisted into an us and them. And equally, once the board engage a third party, all of the senior leaders and even the more junior leaders say, well, why are they doing that? Why aren't they asking us? And the thing is, they probably don't trust them. They want something different. But why don't they ask the very people that work there to say, if you had carte blanche, what would you do differently? And it goes back to, can you handle the truth? Some might say, sack the chairman. Okay? Now, we can laugh about that, but the reality is they really do believe that the chairman needs to go. Just like we feel we're being listened to. So part of leadership, really, so we're getting to the real bones here, and we're probably, this is a very expansive question you've asked. It wasn't narrow, it was huge. What's leadership all about? Well, leadership is, to me, is if I'm asking you a question, I'm really interested in the answer. No hairs and graces. Just very simple. If I say, CK, how are you today? It's not just being nice to you. I am genuinely interested in how you are. Or I might say, yeah, you've got a smile on your face. Anything you want to share? I'm genuinely interested in what you're doing. And I think we've lost some of those basic roots. And it's easy to outsource something, but as every Outsource 101 on the first page of any outsourcing arena, anyone in the sector that talks about outsourcing, they will turn around and they will say, never outsource a problem. Fix the problem, then outsource it. Do whatever you have to do to fix the problem. Because if you outsource it, it's going to cost you so much more in the short and the long term. So it was, apologise for the long-winded answer, because it's a massive subject. And the thing is, to any SME out there, right, if you're going to bring a coach in, bring a mentor in, which I would highly recommend you do on a regular basis, remember it's a partnership. You're not outsourcing your problem to them. You're bringing them in to help you make the decision, raise your awareness, make the decision that's going to be best for your organisation. And if you get it wrong, it was never their fault. If they've got the right partnership, they will feel guilty that it didn't quite get the right answer. They will be with you, monitoring, engaging, researching, making sure that what your decision was the right answer. Sometimes, when we're being innovative, no one's done it before. So the best coach and mentor in the world is now moving, suddenly from the Earth to Mars. They've got all the pictures of Mars. They've experienced it virtually, but they've never been there. And you're taking them there, and they're excited to go with you. So they're going to help you. So this is the consultancy model that I think we should be moving to, a partnership model. And a lot of people will say, the listening in will say, well, it always was a partnership. You're absolutely right. It always was. But it's not working that way. So the purpose of the book is for you to be introspective, to look at yourself, look at your organisation. And we ask you lots of questions at the end of every chapter so that you can reflect on who you are, what do you do, how do you do it? So it will help you choose the right consultancy to come and help you take the next step. It's not rocket science.
Neville, I think the question which I framed was after reading the first few pages of your book. I'm sure the answers are hidden. So I will have new set of questions, maybe once a week or twice a week. I will ask.
Sure you will.
Regarding the same subject. So I'll keep coming back on the same subject, which is, can you handle the truth? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you Mr. Neville Gant, co-author of Can You Handle the Truth? And Can You Handle the Truth? If you want to read, reach out to me and I will share a free copy, a soft copy with you.
Thanks very much, CK. I mean, your questions, everyone's going to be asking these questions. The thing is, to move forward, you've already got the answers. All we're doing is just allowing you the courage to ask yourself the tough questions so you can handle the truth. Once you can handle the truth, boy, your future, it's unbelievable. I mean, we have no idea where you're going to go. And neither do you. But it's a journey that I would like to be with you. And that's the key.
Certainly, you and I will be together, Neville. So, viewers, I just want to say that if you want a copy of the book written by Neville Gant and John Germini, reach out to me and I will share a free copy with whoever wants to read it. And I must say to my viewers, if you are a management consultant, if you are a leader, you are a coach, or chief executive of any size company, you must read this book. And it is free. and I will go through this book. I will ask you more.
Always a pleasure, CK. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.